Hello, welcome. I call this February 8th, 2022 administrative meeting of the Bernalillo County Commissioners to order. Thank you everyone for being here today. We have some great guests and a full agenda. We will have a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Piscotti.
Thank you so much. And I'd like to dedicate tonight's moment of silence and pledge to MDC Sergeant David Hunter, who died tragically in a vehicle accident last Wednesday, February 2nd on Sandia Crest Road. Sergeant Hunter started his career with MDC in March of 2014 as a corrections officer and then was promoted in October 2021 to the rank of sergeant. Sergeant Hunter was a member of MDC's Corrections Emergency Response Team and served in various positions within the facility. This accident happened on a very snowy day in my district, and I commend all of the first responders from BCSO, BCFD, and other agencies for putting their hearts and everything they had into the search, rescue, and recovery efforts on that horrific day. So thank you. My heartfelt condolences go out to all who knew and loved Sergeant David Hunter. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I know Vice Chair Benson wanted to say a few things as well.
Thank you, Commissioner. And thank you for your words and your thoughts for Sergeant Hunter. When I read about his passing in the paper, I was talking with county staff and specifically County Manager Baca, and was also made aware, along with Sergeant Hunter. I just want to just bring our attention to a few other officers who died. Officer Herrera, Isaac Herrera, Officer Landon McWilliams, excuse me, and Captain Jeffrey Pierce. And just want to acknowledge them as well and give our thoughts and prayers to their families during this time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Piscotti and Vice Chair Benson. And just anybody want to say any words? Can open it. Well, thank you. What an incredible loss, and thank you for honoring them in this special way. I also wanted to mention that my community here in Southeast Albuquerque, specifically International District, lost like an incredible community champion, Reina Luz Juarez. She has been a leader in our community. It is her community. We just follow the queen bee. And so it's a huge loss. And yeah, I want to make a future, but I just had to mention her today. Thank you, Reina, for all your years of service. And I know my community is grieving right now as well. So thank you. Yeah, Chief Richardson.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Also, on behalf of MDC, the officers at MDC, the chief staff, we'd also like to reach out again to the families and let them know how sorry we are for their loss, for all the officers throughout the year, Officer McWilliams, Captain Pierce, Sergeant Hunter, and Officer Hedetta. They left a lot of family and friends behind, children, wives, and family and friends at MDC, and they're going to be missed. So I'd like to thank their family and their friends for the time that they gave us, that they gave the organization, that they allowed them to work over their patients. And we just wish the best for them. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Chief Richardson. Okay, it's important to honor and remember our folks. Madam County Manager, are there any changes or additions to the agenda?
Madam Chair and Commissioners, there are no changes to the agenda. And I want to thank you again for your acknowledgement of our great staff at the MDC. It was a huge loss, and for our very valuable community member in your district, Commissioner. So thank you all so very much.
Thank you. We are moving on to item 4, proclamations. We have an acknowledgement of Bernalillo County Information Technology Department. And the sponsor is Commissioner Piscotti. Would you like to present this?
Oops, there, now I'm not on mute anymore. I would absolutely love to present this. Acknowledgement. The Bernalillo County Board of Commissioners does hereby acknowledge the Information Technology Department, acknowledging that on January 5th, 2022, the IT department discovered a cyber crime in progress and moved quickly to take affected Bernco systems offline, sever network connections, notify law enforcement, and secure assistance from cybersecurity experts. And acknowledging that despite their fast action, the impact was severe and immediate. All systems offline, county buildings closed, and internal and external customers scrambling to cope with the loss of essential tools to conduct routine operations. And acknowledging that under intense pressure, IT has acted with consummate professionalism, coordinating, communicating, prioritizing, and responding to a multitude of internal and external stakeholders, and acknowledging the logistical feat represented by recovery efforts to date. Multiple network systems restored, hundreds of servers and computers rebuilt, and accommodation of innumerable requests from internal and external customers. And acknowledging that the response to the cyber crime has required extraordinary individual efforts by IT staff who worked nearly 24/7 during the initial phase of the recovery, and who have continued to demonstrate a profound commitment to Bernalillo County government and constituents. And acknowledging that despite the stress induced by the cyber crime, long hours, and limitations on what they could say as events unfolded, CIO Robert Benavides and Deputy CIO Eli Bourgeois never blinked and have been a reassuring presence. And acknowledging that staff and other departments have also made outstanding contributions toward maintaining county operations and recovery from the cyber incident. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Bernalillo County Board of Commissioners commends the Information Technology Department for its steadfast leadership through this difficult period. Done this 8th day of February 2022 in Bernalillo County, state of New Mexico, and signed by all the commissioners. And it was no joke. I think you really did work 24/7. Robert, would you want to say a few words about that?
Madam Commissioner, Commissioners, Robert Benavides, CIO for Bernalillo County. Yes, first of all, thank you for this acknowledgement. Secondly, I'd like to thank the Commission directly for the financial support that you've provided over the last few years that really allowed us to recover so quickly from the attack. Sometimes it's hard to see how our investments and decisions impact things, but I can point to specific investments and budgetary approvals by this Commission in 2019 and 2020 that allowed us to recover our systems rapidly without having to pay a ransom. So I want to give the Commission due credit for that foresight and seeing those investments come to fruition this year. I'd also like to thank Madam County Manager Julie Morgas-Baca and Deputy County Manager Shirley Reagan for not only their financial support, but also their encouragement, direction, and leadership through this event. I received innumerable messages from them, asking we're okay, and is there anything we can do to help you? Just offering their support. So that has been wonderful. It would be impractical for me to include all of the IT members who worked so tirelessly and diligently on this recovery. Literally, there's dozens. However, I wanted to take a few minutes to recognize and appreciate a portion of my leadership team, those that were instrumental to the recovery from this attack, their skills, knowledge, work ethic, and dedication were just exemplary. Literally, they worked nearly 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks without a day off, 12 to 18 hours a day, literally sleeping for as little as they could and getting up and doing the same thing again the next day for literally 3.5 weeks solid. Without their leadership, this recovery would not have been possible. So I'd like to introduce and thank Ili Bujaude, Deputy CIO, who was included on the proclamation. Also, specifically Ron Claycomb, who's with us this evening, who's our IT and infrastructure manager. Diego Trujillo, who's our IT systems engineering supervisor. And Lawrence Chavez, our IT information security supervisor. The leadership of these gentlemen was really humbling to see. I cannot give them enough credit. I wish to express our gratitude, not only mine, but that of Bernalillo County employees and the citizens of Bernalillo County for what they did here. Their work's been incredible, and I just feel very fortunate to have them on our team. Finally, in closing, I wanted to recognize and appreciate the teamwork, collaboration, and innovation we witnessed across Bernalillo County. Our employees came together to find creative ways to continue to serve our community and customers, all the way, from MDC to the clerk's office, to constituent services, fire, the assessor's office. Everybody just pulled together to find ways of doing things that we hadn't had to think of before. So it really was gratifying to see that teamwork and that commitment to our community. So thank you very much.
And I just want to add, you guys love it in IT security. You love it when we forward you phishing attempts, right?
Madam Commissioner, yes, today, as some of you saw, we did a phishing exercise. And once again, Commissioner Piscotti gets the first place prize 1 minute from when it went out to when we had her response saying, "You're kidding me. You're not really trying to get me again." So we have a fun little game there whenever we send one out with her response. And then literally an hour later, a legitimate, very dangerous phishing attempt came in later that she quickly identified and escalated not only to us, but to DCM, Elias Extraleta, and the Public Works Department. So just thank you for that once again.
County Manager Baca.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. So thank you, Commissioner Piscotti, for your acknowledgement of our IT department. I just really wanted to apologize to you all and to the public and to our employees and to anybody that was affected by it. I know that it was, really inconvenient. I know that it just affected a lot of staff, a lot of our public in a very negative way, and we are trying our very, very best to make everything right. So wanted to thank all the staff and everyone for your patience. So I just wanted to make sure we're very sensitive to that, and please contact us if there's any other concerns that you may have. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, County Manager Baca. Ms. Shirley Reagan.
Good evening, everybody, Madam Chair and Commissioners. I also wanted to echo what County Manager said, but first I wanted to just say that I'm very humbled as well for my IT team. I hired Robert, so I had a little bit to do with that, but I can't take any kind of credit for the work that him and his team have done, and I've done everything I could to help assist. And with that, like he said, across all of the county departments and what we've done with our constituents, we're still working through things to fix things. We are working to make things right. So we're doing all that we can from that perspective with them for employees as well as our constituents. So like County Manager said, be patient with us. We're working through it. We will make it right. And I was one of the ones, Commissioner, that got that phishing thing today. It scared me so bad I didn't even read it. I saw the title of it. I sent it off and told Robert, I sent it to phishing, but I want you to know too. And he said it was an exercise. He says, and he started describing it. I said, I didn't even get to the inside. I just saw that thing saying that it wanted me to change my password. And I said, I ain't changing it no more. So he said, I didn't mean to scare you. And I said, well, maybe all of us need to be afraid, from time to time and stuff like that. But I too appreciate all of the support the commission has given us in terms of funding and recognizing that those things are needed and there's more things coming. So I'm appreciative as well. And I'm very proud to say that I can support the IT department in their what they're doing for Bernalillo County and its citizens and employees. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reagan. So yes, my dad used to say, we all got to turn that wheel, and I'm just thankful that we have strong people turning each side of that wheel. Mr. Benavides, thank you for your work and leadership as well. And thanks, Commissioner Piscotti, for bringing this recognition. Thank you. So we will move on to item 5A, recognition of selfless seniors, and Commissioner Quesada's sponsor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And yeah, after hearing that last recognition and the work that they did, sounded like they were in the movie industry. Those are the hours we work. So I know how exhausting that is and the work, but they had a lot more on their plate than just, doing film or television, that's for sure. Thank you so much. This is my favorite thing, no matter how busy I am or how hard I work. This here makes my whole year. To recognize seniors throughout, Bernalillo County that step up and go above beyond just having, and I'm sure they all have good grades. They probably kill it, yeah, when it comes to their grades and their school involvement. But to do the stuff even on top of that always amazes me and always makes me feel positive about the future of not only, New Mexico, but definitely Bernalillo County. And I always feel that there's probably about 4 or 5 of them that in the future will be running these meetings and being a part of this whole process because that's how much they care about their community. So with that being said, this is our selfless senior recognition. I am going to read the certificate. I'm hopefully not going to destroy too many names in the process, but if I do, I'm asking all the selfless seniors to forgive me now. So with that being said, the certificate of recognition given to APS 2022 selfless seniors. A senior of the Albuquerque Public School who has dedicated themselves to community, service, kindness, and inspiring their peers, recognized in 2022 for positive differences they have created in the community. You are known as selfless seniors. Your service to the community includes invaluable time and energy for making a difference without the expectation or need for recognition. You and your peers have made immeasurable differences in unique and special ways. Your service represents the philanthropic spirit of the students of Albuquerque Public Schools and encourages each citizen to follow your example of kindness and community service. We thank you for your dedication to the community of Bernalillo County. Presented this day, February 8th, 2022, to Liliana Raquel Madrid Larianga from Albuquerque High School, to Claudia Zarate Vasquez from Atrisco Heritage Academy, Aaron Madrid from Cibola High School, Kim Nguyen from Del Norte High School, Ashley Palmer from E Academy High School, Sion Monk from El Dorado High School, Carla Garcia from Highland High School, James Van Hill from La Cueva High School, Taylin Clark from Monzano High School. Clary Larson from Sandia High School. Joshua Gutierrez from Valley High School. Crystal Campos from Volcano Vista High School. Elijah Giron from West Mesa High School. Woohoo! I love them all. And we also like to thank Frank Frost from Frank Frost Photography. And I want to read a little thing about Frank Frost and his involvement with Selfless Seniors. Congratulations to you all. Now let me read this. For your vision and dedication to the creation and longevity of the Selfless Seniors Program of Albuquerque Public Schools. 14 years ago, you approached Albuquerque Public Schools with a plan to honor high school students who serve important causes and assist those in need in our community. Each year since, Frank Frost Photography has donated the portraits and images for Selfless Seniors programs that allows Albuquerque Public Schools to celebrate these students throughout the district. Each Selfless Senior receives a free senior portrait. The portraits are displayed on the APS website, electronic billboards, and display boards in each APS high school, the Albuquerque International Sunport, and other local businesses. Your service represents this philanthropic spirit of Bernalillo County community and inspires citizens and students each year to follow these examples of community service. This also presented to Frank Frost on February 8th, 2022. And then I want to make sure that I didn't skip Jesus Padilla from Rio Grande High School. We can't leave out Rio Grande. Sorry, Jesus. I owe you lunch, Jesus, because I got nervous and I skipped. So do you eat lunch at the cafeteria at school? Okay, well then the next one's on me, Jesus.
Okay, sounds good.
Hey, thank you all. You guys are all amazing young people. We look up to you because you know, you inspire us to do the jobs that we do. So on behalf of the County Commission, thank you so very much, Madam Chair.
Oh, thank you all so much. I so needed that good, beautiful energy. Thank you, Selfless Seniors, for your commitment and just making things better and making my day better for sure today. Thank you, Commissioner Quesada, for presenting that. And congratulations, seniors, and exciting. I can tell you Frank Frost did wonders on my county picture. You might not even know it's me, but you all probably won't need that kind of touch up, but he's a great photographer. So yes, thanks. We're on to business. Thank you all, Selfless Seniors. Congratulations and have a great senior year. We are going to move on to public comment. This is the time when anyone on the public can give public comment about anything on the agenda. You will have 90 seconds to share your comments. You'll then be notified when your time is up. County Manager, or sorry, Julie Ann, do we have anyone signed up for public comment today?
Madam Chair, we do not have any signups. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So now I'll move on to approval of minutes. The minutes of the January 25th, 2022 administrative meeting have been shared. I move to approve the January 25th, 2022 administrative meeting minutes. Do I have a second? Thank you, Commissioner Quesada. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner O'Malley.
Aye.
Commissioner Quesada.
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti.
Aye.
Vice Chair Benson.
Aye.
Madam Chair Barboa.
Aye.
So called.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Adoption of resolution item 8. Madam Clerk, please provide resolution numbers for items A and B.
Yes, ma'am. 81A, no, 8A2, sorry, FR 2022-14. And B is FR 2022-15.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And for item 8A, we will have a presentation from ABC Community Schools. I believe Danette Townsend, there she is, will be presenting about the lunch budget.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, members of the commission. What you have before you today is, or tonight, I guess, is a resolution to increase the summer lunch revenue budget from $1,235,814 to $1,723,527.57, which is an increase of just under 500,000. This will allow ABC to close out the 2020-2021 summer lunch grant in preparation for the launch of the 2022 program. Little history and context: in a typical year, the summer lunch program provides free breakfast and lunch to our community from late May to early August. Due to the significant impacts of the pandemic, the state of New Mexico requested all summer lunch providers to essentially start the meals program on May 16th, 2020, and we did not stop until August 6th of 2021. So this made our budget projections really obsolete. We did end up delivering or handing out 534,131 summer meals, in addition to the a little over 100,000 in hot meals that were handed out at the community centers alone. Just to really drive home how huge the county stepped up in this process, we had about half the number of sites that we usually have because we could not hire anyone. We did not have applicants. So with about half as many sites, we served over 200,000 meals more than we would typically do in that time, in our time frames. And I really just want to give credit to Jake Maribal, who's the ABC Community School Partnership Manager, as well as his summer lunch team and the Bernalillo County Community Center staff for just really meeting the need. They stepped up in a really tough time in general, and then without the staff that they truly needed to deliver those meals, and really supported the community in this magnitude. This is essentially a clerical process. We have already received this revenue. We just need to balance out the budget so we can close the grant. I stand for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Danette Townsend. Is there any questions for Danette? Yes, Commissioner Benson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Townsend, not really a question, just thanking you for doing this. Several family members of mine have been school teachers in APS, and I know that what you're doing is the same work in terms of a lot of times these kiddos, this is the only meal that they can count on. And so, yeah, it's a great use of funds. So thank you so much for delivering that.
Thank you. Commissioner Quesada.
Yeah, very important program to the, to my district as well. Thank you for it. It just seems simple and easy. Hey, give the kids a lunch. It's a huge process. It's a huge undertaking, and it's super important. Those summer lunches for me when I was a kid growing up were super important to me and all the kids up and down my block. And we've been doing it a long time because I've been around for a minute. Despite that they're trying to make me look younger. I've been around for a minute. And so I really appreciate, that ABC Community Schools, stepped up, took this job on over for the schools and stuff. And I know it's a huge undertaking. And I think everybody in the district really, truly appreciates it. So thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the commission, I would also like to say that just as far as, the county itself, the folks on the ground delivering those meals are one thing, but in a typical year, we hire over 70 part-time temporary staff that have to be processed in a really short amount of time. They work with, the HR department works with Jake hand in hand to make sure we can move that forward, get everyone trained. It's a huge undertaking as far as just logistics go. And then the addition of really just being a part of the COVID response was everyone in the county worked to make that happen, as well as working with the city of Albuquerque to ensure that we were really looking at the entire county and where each location was, who was delivering what meals to whom and where the APS sites were, and just really all of the entities working together to make sure we didn't have any gaps and that the community was getting what they needed during a time when that need really rose quickly without any warning in a lot of ways. So thank you very much for the support that you all provide the county departments and the capacity that they are able to do because of that. Appreciate it.
Madam Chair,
Yes, thank you. And
just a quick, we were giving out masks at one point when they were giving out lunches, and when COVID hit and more people came for lunch than they came for the mask. Just throwing that out there. That's how important that was.
agree. I worked in community centers for many of my years, and I can tell you that I knew those neighborhood kids and all the ones that really did want and rely on that for part of their food for the day. So thank you so much for stepping up. And on that, there's a great motion to cover some of that need. Commissioner Quesada.
I'll second.
And the motion is to approve a budget increase from $1,235,814 to $1,723,527.57 for the summer lunch program, and approve financial resolution FR 2214, accepting and budgeting $487,713.57 in addition budget for the 2020-2021 summer lunch program grant. And that was moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner O'Malley,
Aye.
Commissioner Casada,
Aye.
Commissioner Benson, Vice Chair Benson, excuse me.
Aye.
Did I say
Aye.
Commissioner Casada? I'm sorry. Vice Chair, okay, Madam Chair Biscotti, I guess no. Madam Chair Barboa, I am confused, sorry.
You
My
got it.
print is real little, I can't read it.
Aye. I think we all said aye. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you. We're on to item 8B, Fire and Rescue. Fire Chief Greg Pettis to present.
Good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioners. This is a really straightforward item. Every year we receive money for each of our fire stations from the State Fire Fund. They give us a guaranteed amount that is laid out by statute. But for the last 3 years, we've been very fortunate to have an overage awarded to us in the county. So basically what's before you is an accounting for that overage on top of what the base amount is that is guaranteed from state every year.
Chief Pettis, it was broken up for me. Was it just for me? No. Would you mind trying to repeat?
Yeah, I'll try again. Can you hear me better now? We're having issues at the atrium with our feeds. Basically, what's before you, Madam Chair and Commissioners, is every year the state fire marshal's office awards each station a set amount of money. What you see before you tonight is an addition to the set amount of money, and we're just looking to have that added into our budget. So for the last 3 years, we've been very fortunate to get an amount over the guaranteed amount that is set by statute. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, good deal.
Thank
Stand for
you.
any questions.
Thank you, Chief Pettis. Any questions about this motion, financial resolution 2022-15?
I'll move to approve that extra money.
Thank you, Commissioner Piscotti. I'll second. Yes, second. Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner O'Malley,
Aye.
Commissioner Casada,
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti,
Aye.
Vice Chair Benson,
Aye.
Madam Chair Barboa.
Aye.
So called. Thank you.
Thank you, Clerk. We move on to item 9, which is discussion items. And we have County Manager and Sponsor Commissioner Quesada to present on a discussion item about Metropolitan Detention Center.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Good evening. So I guess probably Commissioner Casada, I think it's been about 3 years ago, you came to me and you talked to me about the notion of MDC being its own governmental entity. And, I kind of thought, I've been thinking about this. And I think as time has passed by, I am really, truly realizing what you are trying to accomplish here. I'm glad to say that when I became county manager, I had put the MDC directly under my office and have been working directly with the chief and the staff, the union. And I truly have an appreciation for their tremendous challenges that they face every single day. And I think we need a commissioner again. Thank you for bringing that up to me, because like I say, as time had gone on, I realized how important it is for the MDC to be its own governmental entity, or whatever we can do to give it the prominence, the support, the resources that the men and women there truly deserve, and the inmates as well. We want to make sure that they receive the proper care. So I just want to thank the chief. The chief and I have been working on this. We've been talking about it. We've talked it over with our union president and vice president, Joseph Truhecki, the president, vice president, Lieutenant Speedy. And I thought that, it was just really important for them to be a part of that conversation. And so I just want to reemphasize just a couple of things. This is not about privatization. It is about looking into the MDC being its own public or governmental entity. So we would look at the employees not losing any benefits, not losing their seniority. That is so important that we need to be thinking about all that. And I also want to say it's really important that the county is not washing their hands of you all when we talk about this. We're not walking away. We want you to be even stronger. We want to provide you the support and the resources that you all truly deserve. It's time. So with that, I know Commissioner Quesada, you had a few words that you wanted to say, and I'm going to let you talk a little bit about the bill, or excuse me, the memorial that was introduced in Santa Fe, which I thought was like spot on. And I want to applaud both senators. I believe Ortiz Pino was one of them who introduced the bill. And there was another state senator, and I don't want to forget his name. Clay, you need to help me with it because it's really important. But it's basically kind of the same notion of looking at all the detention centers and seeing what we can do to put our resources together to combine them. So I applaud. I really want to just say that I think that this is just so timely. So with that, Commissioner Quesada, I know you wanted you're the one that was your idea. So I'd like for you to talk about that and educate us a little more. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, County Manager. Thank you, Madam Chair, fellow commissioners. I kind of came up with this my second year in office after spending a year and looking at what the problems we were having at MDC. And at that time, I think one of the biggest thing was the McClendon lawsuit. But on top of that, it was a budgetary thing. As you all know, you've been through the budget a couple of times now. It's a huge part of our budget. Not that we would pull any money away from it, but we've expended as much money as we have to put into MDC. And as we're all aware here tonight, it's not enough. And so what I'm asking to do is to pull other stakeholders together to make it, maybe a regional facility, and that it would function sort of like the Water Utility Authority. I've written some notes down so that way I'm trying to be as specific as I can for that. It's still, as you know, even for those of us who sit on the Water Utility Authority, there's still negotiations with unions when it comes to workforce. I think that it would get a bigger buy-in from the community. You'd have more people making decisions than just us five, right? When it comes to what our procurement processes are, who we hire, how they get hired, who's running the healthcare, who's running, all of that. They would all have a stake in that, not just in, how we run or how we're running the inmate part, but the whole total business of being responsible for MDC. As you know, on many elements we face, it's difficult for us to have the funding. Many years ago, I don't know if you know the history of this, but we had a really smart mayor. His name was Marty Chavez. He was responsible for the MDC at one point, and he so graciously convinced Bernalillo County to take it over. And was the best thing that ever happened to the city of Albuquerque, and it became a quite challenging proposition for Bernalillo County. I think that we all should buy in. I think that we should still put a substantial amount of our budget into MDC. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it would be great to have a budget from that we could be included through the city of Albuquerque, through Sandoval County, maybe even as far as Belen, Las Lunas, Bernalillo, because this is the honest truth. All the people that are that they're having problems with in their community are in our jail. We know that. That's just the way it is. They come to Albuquerque, they commit a crime, they're in our jail. We bust them anywhere, we take them to our jail. We just feel that if we had more buy-in, that we would be able to be stronger financially. We would be able to offer, better pay, better recruitment, all these things that we're facing right now as a commission. I think at the end of the day has to do with dollars, and especially when it comes to retention. So there's 27 county operated adult detention facilities in New Mexico. Would be the subject of this new Senate Majority 6 study. So what we're dealing with at MDC is not unique to Bernalillo County nor to New Mexico. Though the scale and the challenges because of MDC's size is probably greater than all of the other New Mexico counties, other local counties and other states are experiencing the same issue that we have here at MDC. So what I'm saying is we're not unique. So I applaud SM6 and the legislators recognizing that some of the economies of scale and common problems among all county detention facilities, no matter the size, could be addressed through this unified type of system. The inmate population in these 27 facilities range from 10 detainees to over 2,000 detainees. And programs and services, they vary widely from county to county. I think we are the poster child with what kind of services are being and what kind of what we're providing through MDC. There's 6 states, Alaska, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Rhode Island, and Vermont do have county or city operated jails, and instead have so they don't have just what we're doing, they have a unified system in place. So there's models that we can look at and there's other states that we can look at and figure out what works for us, what don't work for us, and furthermore. So I am specifically requesting that the county manager and MDC chief begin exploring making our MDC its own political entity. And I don't mean political in a way, but more of a government type of entity, because it really deserves it. It's fair to the communities around us. It's fair to us for who have to run it. And I think that it will bring more resources and support staff to our operations. And with that being said, I'd like to take some questions for sure. And then later, I'd like to talk to Chief Richardson, and we want to hear the chief's thoughts on these. So Madam Chair, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Commissioner Quesada. Vice Chair Benson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And just for the record, looks like Clay Campbell stated the sponsors are Senator Neville and Representative Cardena for the Task Force on Unified Jail and Prison Systems. And Commissioner Quezada and County Manager, I'm definitely interested in this. One of the, I think, frustrations in the Bernalillo County jail system is that we're getting prisoners that aren't from Bernalillo County. But we've got to take responsibility for that, which means that our constituents are taking responsibility for it with their tax dollars. So it makes sense to have this be a community system on that aspect. I am interested to see how it's worked outside in these other states, as well as, you know, how this works constitutionally within New Mexico and jurisdiction. You know, I know there's issues just changing jurisdiction like this, so I don't think it would be an easy solution. But I also want to just recognize, before we go too far down that path, the work that MDC has on their plate, and you guys, you know, it's a tough job, and you're doing a great job in terms of not quitting and keeping people coming to work and doing a really tough job that can be thankless, and a community that doesn't necessarily appreciate it, but we do for sure. And also, County Manager, same to you, with it being under your scope. So all that to say, we need help. If we can put more resources into this, into the jail, and still especially protect the staff and their tenure and their seniority and all that. If we can make it better for the taxpayers, make a more equitable system for prisoners, I think it's definitely worth looking into.
Thank you, Vice Chair Benson. Commissioner Quesada?
Thank you, Vice Chair, for those comments. I appreciate them. Thank you, Madam Chair. I just, I'm just hoping that we could get some support to move it forward, because I do agree, it's a big job. It's a huge job. Next step is, hey, if we get us to all agree, then we got to start talking to city councilors. We need to start talking to state representatives. We got, we're gonna have to have buy-in across the board. And I know it's a big hill to climb. I wish we would have started in the second year, but and I don't know where it would be now. But hopefully this would be something that we could see light at the end of the tunnel by the end of my term, which is 3 years down the road. I know it's asking a lot, but I think it would be a great thing if we agree, if it's the will of the commission. But I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Quesada. I want to make a quick comment. I too, I'm very interested in hear how this is. I've seen and been following the memorial at the legislature that Representative Cadena and Senator Neville presented. And it is a memorial, which means they want to study and create a task force. And so like, that feels like that's a great place to start. And I would assume that they would want the county's participation in that study and task force, being that we're the largest entity. And in some ways, I think of that Bernalillo County already sort of is the unified district for the entire state for those same reasons, just like Santa Fe and Grants are for the prison system. What I worry about, I'm definitely open. I think I want those things that we named to be the front and center, that officers are paid well, that there's real pieces around the kind of time and overtime and what it means to have trauma-informed supports for our officers. And also that we're meeting all the needs that we've learned through McClendon to make sure inmates getting the care that they need to. So, but I worry because a lot of times for me, it feels like no one cares about criminals and drug addicts. And I think that's a lot of what we're doing. And I say that from my heart. I don't say that to get anybody's knee-jerk response, but it really, in my opinion, would have to be like a statewide commitment to making that kind of resource, because we are the largest county, as we've identified, right? And we have struggles fully funding this, even and so I guess I just worry at the end of the day, when it's easy to kick the can down the road, especially when it comes to people inside our criminal justice system, and people using substances and substances, that I just worry about what that means. So I think this study is the way to get at the real information, get at what kind of resources it really needs. And I also would love to hear from Chief Richardson and Joseph Trujillo if we can, but I'll let Commissioner Piscotti go first. Sorry, I had to jump in. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And I don't have a lot to say, except that I really support this. I had thought about this too. And when I talked to you today, Commissioner Casada, I was so happy to hear that you had thought about this years ago. So you're years ahead of me on this. And I am really grateful to you and County Manager Julie for putting this on the agenda today. I support really looking at this and, really looking at it and doing an analysis of how we can really help out and make improvements at MDC. And so that being said, I too would love to hear from Chief Richardson.
Yes, Chief.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioners, Madam County Manager. So I have spoke with the County Manager about this before, and and I share Commissioner Quesada's analysis about what happens at MDC. MDC is not any different than any of the other counties as far as what we're experiencing, except for two things that really do affect the staff over there. And when I say the staff, I want y'all to remember we are concentrating on officers today, but we also are experiencing shortages in all areas within MDC. And without a lot of the areas like records and classification and facilities and food services and all these other areas, and I reluctantly call them support because they're very integral part of the MDC working, right? Because if we didn't have them, then our daily operations wouldn't function. But the two things that I see that hinder us are volume, the amount of people that come in and out of the facility, and McClendon. McClendon is definitely something that the other facilities don't have to contend with. And it's very, stringent, and there's a lot of expectations there. And in some cases, when we're faced with a situation like we have with COVID and then with the ransom incident, it becomes more difficult. So what I did see with the ransomware also was what even brought this more, brought it to my attention more, is that MDC needs to be able to function as its own entity in a lot of different ways, right? It needs to be able to stand on its own when something like this happens, or if it were to happen again, which we need to prepare for, I'm sure everybody is, that if it happens in the rest of the county, and no offense to anybody else in the rest of the county, but if it happens in the county, that MDC can function and its daily operations can be maintained, and it's on its own servers, whatever it needs to do, because it's its own city up there, and nothing stops over there. You know, law enforcement doesn't stop bringing individuals in for them to be arrested. We can't stop serving meals. We can't stop laundries. Officers can't stop doing all their daily operations and writing their reports and everything that goes along with that. And then our security systems, we need to make sure that those are up and running in there as fail-proof as possible. So I would like to see something done for the officers and all the staff over there. We have tried to do some things in the past. And you know, with the current environment, it's a bidding war out there. We do have to make the job attractive. We do have to make the job attractive for people to come in, and we're going to have to do something in order for us to retain individuals other than what we're doing. The only thing I don't want to see is that there's an adverse effect towards the staff and towards the officers over here if this were to occur. They, you know, want to be able to maintain their seniority, maintain their wages, maintain their retirement as is. Those are very, very important because a lot of those individuals weren't even here, and it started when McClendon wasn't even in the picture, or was in the picture, and they just came in afterwards. It's been here since 1995 and then renegotiated again, I believe, in 2016. So I would like to see something like this happen. I do believe they need the support. I do believe they need additional financial assistance. Our largest group of individuals that come into the facility that are incarcerated at MDC in large are from the city of Albuquerque. And then, you know, we do get them from, of course, outside the city and in the county, and then other agencies bringing them in. But you are right. A lot of people do come here to Albuquerque from adjoining counties or from around the rest of the state. And, you know, they may get stopped or they get in trouble. And then when they run a check on them, then they end up that they have a warrant for the arrest, and then they're initially booked into MDC, right? Until we can get them moved to the appropriate county of jurisdiction. So I'm in agreement with looking at a study. I'm in agreement with trying to make things better for the officers. I don't want the county backing out. I believe a lot of these individuals have been, and like county manager said, she's not. A lot of these individuals, both officers and staff, have been very loyal to the county and do work for the county. I think they take a lot of pride in that, and I think they hold on to that. So I look forward to taking a look at it, seeing how it works, seeing if it's something that is, again, for the organization in itself, that it helps build the organization and gets the funding that it needs, and as well as that it does provide for hiring, retention, and a better working environment, better wages, if you will, better benefits, whatever the case might be for the officers that have been there and stuck it out, especially over the last 2 years. It'll be March 17th, I believe, will be the first COVID case we had at MDC. So that's right around the corner. So all of these folks have been dealing with it, been fed with a fire hose. They take a lot of hits, but again, I will follow my sword that a lot of these individuals, there's a lot of good work that happens over there. Despite some of the incidents that we have, there's a lot of good work that these individuals do. So with that, I don't want to talk too much. I'm open for questions, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Richardson. And I agree. I want all of the staff at MDC to know that they are valued and important. Mr. Trujillo, please.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Look, the union agrees. If this is something that's going to make the environment better, get us better funding, and help the jail get off on a better foot, we're all for it. And we're willing to work with the county and work with the administration to make something like that happen. And I apologize, I can't get video on this camera. We've been working with the administration since I took over. You know, I speak with the chief every day. I speak with the county manager a lot. We're solving a lot of issues, low-hanging fruit that we can deal with. And this idea, like I said, if it's feasible, we would like to have a seat at the table. We would need a seat at the table every step of the way to make sure that what we've gained as a union and for our officers and for our members stays intact. I was here with the city in 2005 when the city literally just dumped us onto the county. And that's exactly what it was. They just dumped us onto the county. And the day the county took over, 78 people were terminated and another 43 left. And we were put into a staffing situation pretty similar to what we are now. Unfortunately for us then, we had a way better morale and a way better administration that actually helped us work through that time, and we were able to get our numbers back fairly quickly. So again, we're all for something that's going to make it better, make it to where MDC can function, because now we're having a hard time. We're not functioning like we should be, and McClendon is going to play a big role in this, because McClendon is not going away, and whatever entities we need to partner with are going to be having to willing to accept that liability of McClendon, whether it's the state, whether it's the city, whether it's Valencia County, Sandoval County. That's something that they're going to have to be willing to take on. So the other part for us is that this is something it's going to take a while. This isn't something that's going to happen next week, next month, next year. Even at the state level with the Proposition 6 or Memorial 6, that's even going to take longer. That has even more moving parts, because you're talking about 27 different entities. Some of these small jails, that's the livelihood of the town. I don't know how that's going to affect those small towns, but for us, I can see that we can do it. And the only issue is this is going to take a while. We need help now. We are in a crisis now. We need something done now. We're 200 officers short now. We have a roster that we came to agreement with that's going to be implemented next month. We do not have the bodies to fill that roster. We do not have the staff to do it. We need help now. And I think working with the chief, I think we've came to the point where there's nothing more that we could do as a facility without the county's help and the commissioner's help. And moving forward, whatever happens, we need some relief soon. And the chief is correct. We need to stay competitive. Right now, we're behind everyone, and I know money is not the only answer. There's a myriad of things that are gonna have to be done. Several things that are gonna have to be done to just fix the situation for now. So I look forward to working with each and every one of you. The members look forward to working with each and every one of you to make things better. But please, we need some help now. And that's pretty much all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Trujecki. Yes, Commissioner Quesada.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, Mr. Trujecki, we definitely hear you. We're moving on some emergency situations now. This wasn't put to here to fix what's dealing with us right now. This is something that we think could help us once we are able to navigate what's happening now, but to build us better, to make it better. I mean, right now, even if we could just get buy-in from the city of Albuquerque, that would make a substantial change in just that entity alone. I think what a good idea is to really look at the Water Utility Authority, see how that functions, and see how successful the Water Utility Authority really is. They do an excellent job, and I don't know how they got the county and the city to create this. That's what I'm asking staff to look at, how that happened. Because even if we just do that, I think would help us in a big, huge way to bring more funds in to do the stuff that's important. I think that not only as county commissioners that we're worried about, our officers, but we're worried about the medical part end of it, the staffing of that. And I know you guys are too, because that affects you directly. But we're looking at all aspects of MDC and what we could do together, even if it was just the city, right? And then later on, we could bring people in. But we would make sure that it's not for people to come in and clear house. It's not to dump this on somebody and clear. That's not what we're trying to do. That's not what we want to accomplish. But it would run like the Water Utility Authority, where you would have, members from the city, members from the county, and whoever else is buying into, this entity would have seats at the table, and would be a part of the decision making moving forward. But I just wanted to let you know that this isn't our answer to the problems now. This is our hope for answers in hopefully the near future. But in the future, we're well aware that we've heard you about what's happening at MDC, and I think everybody here on the commission has really put some great ideas forward. We're already implementing some of the stuff that is a quick emergency type of thing. But you're right, long term is what we have to be thinking. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Quesada. County Manager Baca.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to let you all know that, just for the sake of transparency and in all due respect for the city, I did let them know that we were going to be bringing this up, because I would never want to blindside them. So I did let them know. I also want you to know that Officer Trujecki, Lieutenant Speedy, we hear you as far as you need help now. And the truth is they do need help now. But that's for another discussion. We will be discussing that, but we do need to find solutions as we're looking at accomplishing what Commissioner Quesada has brought up today. So it's real important that you all know that we are aware of that. But also remember, we're always competing. So APD just got raises, and of course we absolutely are grateful for everything that our Sheriff's Department does. So it's just a cycle. We realize it, but not to say that we don't respect the work that our public safety does for us. So I just wanted to bring that up to you all. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, County Manager Baca. And like I said, I think I mentioned before, right, that my son, who got a security job, it was sort of funny to me and he got that security job. He's working security for a couple of years, making like $14 an hour. And then now because of the need, right, across the board, he's starting at $17 an hour doing the same kind of security at the hospital. Of course, it's different vibe, but on weekends he gets a differential, and he's making $24 an hour on Saturday nights. Right. And I know we all have a budget to maintain. I just do also think it's just sort of happening in the world right now. So we're here to hopefully catch up and figure out how we make it work. The part I do just want to also get on record, right? I'm thankful to think about a study and explore all the options. As much as I care about how much everybody in that facility is treated and has access, I also want accountability, right? I think that it being housed within Bernalillo County means that people, or individual citizens, family members of inmates or otherwise, can come to the commission, and there's a level of accountability there. So I'm sure we would have to figure that out in this new model too, right? But the accountability piece to how we hold our jails accountable. So thank you for bringing this. And I don't know if there's next steps. It sounds like, I guess I want to also say, I want to make sure that the county's part of this task force, which is just a memorial, but I don't know what the next steps for us are.
Madam Chair and Commissioners, so possibly we can speak with the NM counties, since Ken Martinez had given me the idea. He says, well, maybe we should approach NM counties to see if they could assist. But I absolutely agree with you. Bernalillo County has to be at the table along with, our union representatives as well. So we'll be talking to Mr. Kopelman and others as well, and we'll be keeping you posted on everything that we're doing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Quesada, for bringing this. Any last thoughts? Close this conversation out. I was just trying to stall so I could pull up my script again. Thank you for bringing this important conversation, and very excited to learn more.
Madam Chair, Chief Richardson has his hand.
Oh, sorry, I was both looking everywhere. Chief Richardson, please.
Yeah, and in closing, again, I'm glad that we had a discussion, and I'm glad that you are looking at MDC and recognizing what's going on over there. Again, I'll just reiterate, the people over there work very hard, and it's a big responsibility. And I hear a lot of folks saying, well, why don't you bring this group in, or why don't you bring that group in, or why don't you bring this group in to come in and do the work of those individuals over there. And it's not that easy. Those individuals over there are trained, and that's from the officers on down. It's a very unique job. There's some very unique training that goes along with it. There's some mandatory training. And, again, when we look a while back throughout the county, when they were doing looking at what's called leveling of positions over there, it's hard to look at MDC because the positions over there differ in so many ways from a lot of other areas in the county, because it is more specialized. So again, and specialized in some ways. So again, I appreciate everyone's time this evening and taking a look at it, giving us an opportunity to speak. And I'm looking forward to see what we can get accomplished. So thank you again.
Thank you, Chief. Mr. Jahiki.
Yes, thank you. I won't take up too much more of your time. I think I misspoke earlier. I didn't mean to say we had a better administration then. What I meant to say is the jail was in a better place. Number one, we were a higher paid facility at that time than the other ones around, and our morale and our camaraderie was in a better place than what it is now. After COVID and our short staffing and everything that's been happening, it's like one blow after another. The 4 deaths that we had, the cyber attack. Ever since the end of 2019, it's been a snowball. And that's what I meant to say is back in 2005, when we were shorter staffed, it was a little bit different environment, is what I meant to say. And I just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jahiki. I think it's so important, and it takes a person to be able to clear up readiness. And these are tenuous conversations. I hope we can all take a deep breath and release, and hopefully let some of us go, because right now tonight we're not deciding on anything. We're having discussions, which is needed and important. And I'm thankful that everybody's at the table to have these discussions that might get tenuous sometimes. So thank you for bringing them and everybody being present. All right, I'm going to move us on to, we did have a closed litigation meetings today. So there's a couple of statements I need to read. So I offer the following statement regarding the closed litigation meeting held today, Tuesday, February 8th, 2022 at 3:00 p.m. Only those items described on the published notice and agenda for the closed meeting held on February 8th, 2022 were discussed at the meeting. I now need a motion for approval of this statement, and it will become part of the minutes of this meeting.
So moved.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Somebody else can.
I see Commissioner O'Malley. Can I have a second? Yeah,
A
Commissioner.
second.
Thank you, Vice Chair Benson. Madam Chair, call the roll.
Mr. O'Malley.
Aye.
Commissioner Quesada.
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti.
Aye.
Vice Chair Benson.
Aye.
Madam Chair Barboa.
Aye.
So called.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Second statement is I move that the Bernalillo County Attorney be authorized to proceed with the matters discussed in the closed meeting held on today, Tuesday, February 8th, 2022, within the parameters set by this commission. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vice Chair Benson. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner O'Malley,
Aye.
Commissioner Casada,
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti,
Aye.
Vice Chair Benson,
Aye.
Madam Chair Barboa.
Aye.
So
Thank
called.
you. Great. And that is all of the things on our agenda for today. Then Tuesday, February 22nd of 2022 will be the next Board of Finance meeting at 4 p.m. It will remain a Zoom virtual meeting. And Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022, administrative meeting at 5 p.m. also on Zoom. And we have some signing of official documents. And if there is no other business, we can adjourn. Thank you.